You're watching this video and you're like, that old guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Of course you're not saying that, but come on, I'm here to tell you, this old guy, I'm here to tell you, absolutely guaranteed, no guessing, you don't even need to think it. It's an absolute fact that you're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. This video today is a great shoe. I love it. I do shoes every day, every single day. I do a video for YouTube about upcoming sneaker releases. And sometimes it's shoes that I'm just a bit iffy on and I don't know much about. Now, the Air Force One is a shoe I know a ton about, like an awful lot about that shoe. But then here we are with a collaboration with a soul-born hip-hop artist, G-Dragon, and that's just not me. Like, I'm not kidding. It's just not me. I did the Bill and Ted's Adidas shoes recently. I think they were Artillery Highs is what they were called. And they were a tie-up with Bill and Ted's and Adidas and a rapper. And I called the rapper Kid Cudi, and apparently his name is like Kid Cudi, I think is how you pronounce it, and somebody shot me up with a comment down below and said, dude, what are you talking about? But in that video, and in this video, I'm not hiding the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about. This isn't like a guessing game where I'm going to try and deceive you and pretend that I'm up to speed on like soul-based, soul-born hip-hop artists. Yeah, that's just, no, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about when it comes to that, but I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to shoes, and I absolutely know what I'm talking about when it comes to Air Force Ones. So even though maybe the actual collaboration, the person who they're collaborating with is a bit beyond me, the shoe itself and the hits on it are definitely something that I know about, and I'm going to bring them to you today as we take a close-up look at the Nike Air Force One Pa라 Noise 2.0. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. Mainichi Yapsuru no Den, Mainichi Mite Kudasai. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, like I said, we're not too far away from where I am. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan, and the nearest country to us is South Korea. I think that's something I could confidently say. If you go to the south of Japan, to where like Hiroshima is and stuff like that, it's a short ferry ride, to be honest, from the tip of Japan to the tip of Korea. Although Tokyo is a bit further away from that, and Seoul itself is a bit further away from the southern edge of Korea, they're the nearest country. That's the nearest country to us. So when something comes along, it's Seoul-based in any way, shape, or form, I love to bring it to the channel, and hopefully you guys appreciate that. But yeah, being here in Tokyo, Japan, it's very close, very nearby. Speaking of that, yesterday's video about the NMD human races had some Korean tie-up in there, and I forgot to mention that too. So, but yeah, bringing Korean stuff to the channel is a big plus for me. But like I said, I don't know much about G-Dragon, and I don't know if I need to. Maybe as an artist, it is good to know about what he can do and what his style is. But like, I'm focused on the shoe, not on the artist, and that's what we're going to do today, is look at that and talk about the important details that bring this shoe. And it's absolutely fire. It does one thing that I love shoes to do. In the last couple of years, there's been a technological development that allows shoes to be more than one shoe, and we'll get into that today as we have a look at the shoe and talk about the different parts on it and the different elements and the different branding. And I thought when I first looked at this shoe, I was like, it's your standard black and white, or I suppose white and black, Air Force One. 38 years, the shoe really hasn't changed. The silhouette isn't going anywhere. Why fix it when it isn't broken? And I looked and I was like, yeah, black and white. I wasn't really interested in doing it because the only thing that interested me on it was the midsole, and hopefully I'm bringing up the midsole here, and you can see that sort of rough paint feel to the midsole, where it's a white midsole with that kind of stripe or two of light paint. It's not carefully painted on, it's like a careless paint stroke along the length of the midsole, and I thought that was the only thing on it. I was kind of like, that's not enough reason to bring a shoe to the channel. But then I couldn't find the shoe to bring to the channel today, and I thought, okay, I'll have a look at that. It's like, whoa, wow, there's an awful lot going on in that shoe, and I'll bring that to you guys right now. So let's stay on that midsole and we'll go to the back where the branding is, and it's an important detail. I talk about it a lot in my videos about Air Force Ones, about that branding on the back that says Air and then has the line that wraps around from the lateral to the medial side, and whether or not when they design the shoe, if they have that in contrast to the midsole or if it complements it. And what I really love about this shoe is it does both. Often they'll have like black branding on a white background to give you a really solid amount of contrast, or white branding on a white white branding on a white background, and then you don't have any contrast at all. But you can see what I'm zoomed in on here is that they've gone with a mix and match of that to go with that sort of careless paint stroke on the front end of the midsole. The air and the line branding there is a bit black and a bit white, so it sort of mixes it up, and I love that. I think that's very cool. I think it was the Wheat recently that came out where the air was black and the stripe that ran around was actually the same wheat colour as the midsole, so that was a deliberate half and half. But on this it's a little bit more, it's supposed to be careless, although we know when it comes to sneaker design they're deliberate in just about everything. So that's an important feature, and since we're so close to that, we'll stay with the heel element there, because there's a little bit on the heel where it's unusual. It reminds me of Jordan 1s, to be honest, where the swooshes come round to the back and then join together. There's usually a little panel on the back that joins the ends of the swooshes together on Jordan 1s, and it's a bit like that on the midsole of this, because there's this big black sort of stripe that runs right down the middle of the midsole. It's almost like that's like holding the whole shoe together. And then if we go up from that, the branding panel on the back says Nike Air, nothing special in there. It's unusual in a way, because when they do collaborations, that's one of the points where they can really play with the shoe, and they chose not to, but they didn't need to, because there's a lot still to talk about. I mean, a lot still to talk about in the shoe. What I've talked about so far is the surface stuff that you look at it quickly as you're swiping through shoes, and you're like, yeah, white and black Air Force One with an interesting midsole, and that's all we've talked about so far, but there's more. And there are three things that we need to get in on that. One is the tongues with that unique piece of branding up there that looks like a flower, with the center part and the petals all around the edge with one petal missing. So the standard Nike Air Force One branding that you get up on the tongue is gone. But it's very cool, looks really nice. I couldn't see any doubrays on these guys, which is unusual. Often Air Force Ones have doubrays down there, which are interesting and add an element of design to the shoe, but I didn't see any doubrays for these guys, but they might be just in other pictures or other things that I haven't seen yet. And then the second of the three things that I want to get to is the insoles, and this is the hint at something more going on in the shoe. So hopefully I've sort of panned back to show you down into the insole on these guys from above, but then why not actually have a look at the whole insoles, because I found this picture that is the insoles taken out, so they're like in-out soles now, and you can see the full sort of canvas of painting that they've gone for with this collaboration, and that's the first place on the shoe that's really hardcore. Everything else is sort of, vague or wishy-washy, or like I say, that painting on the side of the midsole is kind of casual or slapdash, but then you look at the insole on, did I say insole just now? On the side of the midsole, right? And then the insole though is really, really busy and a lot going on. And that's the secret of the shoe. That's the big deal here, because it's one of those shoes, and this is that technology that I was telling you about before. It's one of those shoes that has a second upper hidden underneath. And that has been a really big motif across a lot of lines, but especially Air Force One lows in the last 18 to 24 months. Clot does it really, really well, where you can remove the top layer and you reveal a second layer below. Last year's Chinese New Year Air Jordan 12s, actually earlier this year, you could remove, they were just ostensibly a black shoe, but you could remove that and reveal a much more colourful shoe underneath. And it's the same with these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring you up one shot. I don't need to show you more than this, but what you can see there is how much the upper has started to disintegrate away to reveal that lower upper, the other upper, which looks very much like those insoles I showed you already. And you can see, the way that the upper has been deteriorated. Reveals a slight look on the inside. Now, there have been quite a lot of shoes like that recently, where you can sort of rub away one upper to reveal another upper below. Or you can just let it happen naturally over time, and when your foot like creases the leather in certain places, little bits will sort of disintegrate away to reveal the upper below. I'm much more in the let it happen naturally line. Don't know about you guys out there, but for me, if I had this shoe, I wouldn't deliberately remove the upper on them. I'd just let it happen over time. Scuff marks, bends, creases, that kind of stuff will reveal the second upper on them. So I'm very much in that sort of camp, but I know there are other people out there that will deliberately take the whole toe box off, for example, or just the midfoot under the swoosh, for example, that kind of stuff. So it's up to you, but for me, like I say, I would be in the let it reveal naturally, and that is the big feature of the shoe, is that second upper hidden below that white. So when I said it was a white and black Air Force One, it's much, much more than that. And even on the outsole, final thing thing to look at today if we go to look at the outsole. A deliberately weathered outsole. I think it's a white outsole that's been deliberately weathered with dark colours like black or dark grey to give it that kind of feel of lived in, used shoe, just like those paint stripes on the side of the midsole. So all in all, coming back out to look at the whole shoe, it's just very, very nice. It's a very cool shoe. Like I said at the top of this video, I don't know much about Dragon G, D-Dragon, I don't even know his name. I don't know much about him at all, but I do know shoes, and I do know when a Fire collaboration comes down the line, and this is it. This is a very nice shoe, very cool. I think it could be one of the bigger ones of this, end of autumn, start of winter season. So very good job Air Force One, very good job G-Dragon. Very good job me as well. Well done me for getting through a video about a person I don't really know much about. Okay, I hope you appreciate all that. I hope there was stuff in there to, give you guys a little bit more knowledge about Air Force Ones or about this collaboration, or even point you in the right direction if you want to actually pick this shoe up, dropping on November 25th. So if that's your kind of thing and this video helps you make a decision on that, either way, yes or no, I'd appreciate knowing that, because sometimes, I remember there's an Air Force One Anthracite, I think it was, that looked like it had a black midsole, but it was actually a deep blue, and a guy who watched my video was like, oh my god, I would have bought that shoe if I hadn't realized, if I thought it was triple black, but it's actually blue on the midsole. Don't want the shoe anymore. So it's great that people watch my videos and make a decision either way, to cop or not to cop, because they're making an informed decision. So I appreciate getting that kind of comment down below. Okay, time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content. Truly appreciate it, and I'll just do the thing that I do at the end of every single video, which remind you that I do this every single day, like every single day, and because of that, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.